each time I forget to put off the recorder in this default song. Here we have Punch-2 and it's a water gong, this one. So a little gong recorded in the water. So yeah, let me take it. Let me show you. So I'm back again. This is the gong. So you see the little gong. Okay, let's shut that down. Also sample that. It's a little paste gong. I have also a little one, but we put that one in the water and I hit it. So that is the water gong. So let's play it back. And it's the little gong water. That's the, but I just played ahead of the live stream starting. I was playing around with it. Watch what happens if I use the granular on this one and also change the tuning. So granular, oops, tuning. Hey, now I have a nice metal sound. I can open the FX stand. So now I have a metal hit. So yeah, you see the granular and detuning a sample very often makes sense. It's a bit too loud. So yeah, I'm checking here. The chat room is running into some people I see running into the chat room. Cat, I see Sanjini. Hey Sanjini, they love your second bang for Predator 3. Really, we got some great feedback on that. So that's cool. I see Tom, barking fish tunes. Yeah, and Johan. Yeah, I just was explaining about this. Let's go back to the main page. I mute this sample. Here's this little baby. We did some weird recordings here in my studio. Also, this little gong, we put that in the water and hit it, and that was called the water gong. And yeah, it's one, if you go to this beat, it's used here. And only I put a granular on it. So if I put off the granular, you hear that it's a very... Let's keep the reverb off. So it's a very dry sound. So I go to the main page and do it solo. So this is the original sound. Could maybe a bit longer if I go to the edit page. So this is the sample. Yeah, here, boom. So that's the original sound. A bit muddy, but that's the little gong played in a little boil of water. And then if you put on the granular, and what I often do is then change the lengths. You get these weird things, and then you tune it and get this metal sound. And a little bit reverb on it, you got a very nice metal percussion sound. As if somebody hits a big metal thing. So now back to the main page to unmute it. Oh, sorry. Here's the mute solo. So that's the sound. Weird, isn't it? And I was doing with the side stick. If you go to the side stick, that's this one. And I went to the pattern page because there in groove 3 it plays. This is the You see pad 4, snare, the sharp one, which is this one. So this is the groove. And you also can do is change the tuning a bit. That makes the sequencer very cool. So let's shut down this man with the big metal thing here. Oh, he's walking away. He's walking away in the distance. So with the pattern, you see you can do different things, which is a bit harder to do in your sequencer. Then you need to record the parameter, which is of course also possible. But that's a nice thing, is you can change the tuning and also even the panning. So the panning also, I can hear that. So now, well, this is groove 3 is playing. This one here, I can also go to the edit. Here's some reverb. And then you get some weird groove. Double click, it goes to the center again. Yeah, and in this one we have a little bit of SubBoomBass, a bass, nice bass. It's Predator 3 and SubBoomBass-2 month currently. And this is one basic preset and you can tweak it. Very aggressive resonance with the zero latency filters. But I make it a little darker. See how much different nuances you can have simply by changing the cutter frequency, envelope, amount, the envelope and the filter. You can adjust the amp envelope. Many tones you already just starting from one particular preset. Okay, I will put my microphone a little bit louder. Yeah, it's of course the case if I speak, I hear my own voice in myself and feedback also from the speakers. So what is a good idea to keep it a little bit higher? Or the music a little bit down. Yeah, that also could be. So yeah, I'm just starting for the live stream and we don't know where it all goes today, but I started with the Punch-2 where we added did some cool things, which you also can do if you find a nice groove. This is called the Water Conga Groove 2. I did mute a few things and then simply go into the edit screen and fiddle around, and very often you get some cool stuff. And of course we have this easy page which allows you also do some weird stuff. If you click here, it goes to the center again. You can. So very cool feature, this easy page. Keep in mind that if you change the easy page, save this preset with a new name, create your own bank folder, because the easy page is stored inside this preset. So so this is what I was tweaking a little bit, and yeah, I found out that this gong here this water gong was very cool if you use the granular on this sample. Here's Metal worker, yeah. Oh, it's a huge cowbell from 20-inch. So a little bit about Punch-2. Of course, we go back also to Predator 2 today. So let me close this one. I wanted to show you also a little bit about BLUE-3. So we are very busy with the graphic design, and I can show you a little bit how BLUE-3 is gonna look like. So I have, for instance, the mid section. I can show you already. So let's close Punch-2 here. And then we have, let me see that I clicked right. Yeah, here we go. This is the mid section. So below this section, we will get the LCD part and the XY. But the mid section, the top section is not ready yet, so that I don't show you. So this is the style we are gonna get with a BLUE-3. And if you look, the dials are a little bit different. They will also be animated, so you can put that on off if you find it irritating. So if something is modulating, for instance, the semitone, you will see that on the outer ring it will be moving. But if you think, oh no, that's irritating, you can shut it off. Of course, there's a little bit more strain on the CPU if you use all the graphic gadgets. But some people like the graphic animations. And then what you see here is a envelope symbol, because yeah, BLUE-3, just like BLUE-2, is also a FM synthesizer. And each oscillator then is, you need the envelope. So if you click on this one, it will open in the download section where the part you don't see yet, it will open the envelope. So even for the amp envelope, because the amp envelope here has only the minimal controls, which are the most important ones, like attack, decay, sustain, and release. But for instance, if you want to control some other parts from this envelope, you click on this envelope icon and it will open in the download section. Then, yeah, of course, we will have new waveforms. We have the string model, which you know from SubBoomBass-2. You select it as a waveform, and then down here, some dials will change their function. And you see here also granular. So on samples, also granular will be possible. I'm not sure how far that goes, if it's only on our own samples, but also on your own samples which load in. But I need to discuss this still with John. But yeah, so this is already the base for a BLUE-3. And still much work to do, not only on the graphic side, but also in the on my side, doing the making some more samples. So I'm looking up here in the chat room. I see some positive response already. That's cool to hear. That looks cool. Yeah, it's of course the case that BLUE-3 will have different sizes. You will have the 100%. I think the 150 and 200%, maybe also 125%. So I think 3 or 4 sizes we will have. And then, yeah, it will have the bank manager, which you know from Predator 3 and all our recent products, which each preset is then a single file, and the original BLUE-2, which is, I think we released the BLUE-2 in 2013. And by the way, that's almost 10 years ago. It's unbelievable how time flies, but still a fantastic synthesizer, of course. But yeah, now it's time for a new challenge with BLUE-3, a very special synthesizer, because it combines the FM synthesis with subtractive. We will have new filter types, of course, the zero latency filters we have new waveforms, new spectral waveforms, new samples, and you can load in your own samples. It's of course not a sampler in a traditional way, so it's not as, you cannot compare that with a, let's say a EX24 or a, now I can't get the name on my head. The Contact, yeah, player. So you can load in 6 stereo samples, make split points and that kind of things. So it's a little bit limited, but I think most people will still, which like to load in their own samples, will enjoy it. And that's another story. Is one of a thing is one sample I took from my ASA 10 project, which is very long ago. Which was used in one song called that. It's from my album Daydreamer, and this is the remastered version. So that's on the SoundCloud, Deezer, and you call it or whatever it is. And it's this sound. I have it in BLUE-3 now, so you will have it in BLUE-3 as well then. So. So maybe some people will recognize it, but it's from this song. I can play it because I don't shut my own channel down because of a... Oh. It's from the Daydreamer album called Zion. So this one continues, but it's this sound. It's a little bit like a Fairlight type of sound. I don't know what I at that time sampled. It's heavily processed. I did sample it again, so did transfer it to BLUE-3. And there's a little trick with BLUE-3. What I do essentially, because it is a mono sample. So that's let's tell you a little bit of my little tricks. So if I go to the dry sample originally, and the sound will be called Alaska. That's the sound because it is a kind of cold vocal sound. This is the original. And as you can hear, a perfect loop. And the trick, what I do in the background in BLUE-3, which you also can do once you load your samples in BLUE-3, is that I copy the same sample to a second layer and then give the other sample a different starting point in the sample. So one sample I pan to the left and the other one to the right. And then you have a with two mono samples, you have one stereo sound. And this is then the stereo version. So this is mono. And this is, oh, still mono. Okay, why is that? Okay, so that's not what I meant to be. Give me 1 second, I have something I need to... Huh? Yeah, the famous words in each studio. Huh? Now I place. Yeah, sorry. So now you hear it. Now it's stereo. This is mono, and this is stereo. So that's the trick. Yeah, then we're working. I also acquired some pizzicato sounds. These are still not lined out, so I'm opening the screen from BLUE-3, so we have something to look at because you don't see my BLUE-3 yet. So these are pizzicato samples which I acquired, which comes from the original EMU library, the Tim Swatch is a good friend of mine, and from his I regularly acquire samples which I can sample myself. So, for instance, if you go to the samples of the strings inside Predator, sorry, in BLUE-3, the real strings, so like this one, these are based on the EMU library. So yeah, it's of course, this is a multi-sample. This is also in your BLUE-2. The Teo strings is this one. And essentially this Teo strings uses the real strings together with a little bit synth strings. But so the pizzicato, the sound is not meant to be to really reproduce perfectly the pizzicato, but I want to use it more as a pluck sound. So I really pick then the good samples which are then suitable for these. So let me play. I can play them. So in total, yeah, I think it's over 20 samples which I have now, and then I need to look up. So this one, and now I need to spread them around in the keyboard and to see which one fits best. So to make the split points. But it's very nice as a staccato sound, and of course as a bass sound for using it together with other stuff. So what I have more samples. Yeah, the other ones I showed you last time are essentially the diamond strings, the Selena strings, and the other ones, yeah. The flute I showed you. So yeah, other things are still in progress. I have this little box next to me. I can show you. Finally, I can show you the boil. This is the boil. It has plenty of goods inside of it, which I also sampled, which you will find also in Punch. So this, for instance, is the spoon sound, which you find in Punch, in Blue. I don't know what it is. This is also nice. This is from a hard disk. I sampled that as well. This is a pocket, a film roll. So yeah, you see all kind of stuff. Okay, do you know this one? I did not sample this one yet. Maybe it's interesting too. Yeah. So plenty of stuff, but this is the boil, the famous boil in BLUE-2 and in Vecto. You can hear this boil, this scraping boil. And we once had a trade show in Ibiza, and I had this sound. I need to sample that one still. So still much work to do for me. So this one also will appear in BLUE-3. And we have this one. Ah, this one is a is from a mixer. So but it's a nice, all kind of these sounds you will find in Punch-2 in these special samples, but oops, yeah, you will hear that also. Some things inside the new BLUE-3 sample range. Yeah, I'm looking in the chat room. Nice strings. Yeah, they are great. Yeah, kitchen devices. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a good point. See, the pizzicato will be cool for any I-like sounds. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, and then I'm looking also for a dulcimer sound. I have a other friend of mine who plays this dulcimer. So it's going to be a busy week for me sampling. And so it's going to be a nice addition in terms of samples. And as mentioned, the focus is of creating synth sounds. So let me see if I maybe have here one. I think that one maybe. Yeah, I should play that one from Epic X Move Y. Epic X Move Y. I think that one has also some weird stuff going on. So here's BLUE-2. This is the BLUE-2. In the manager, I still have defined X Move something. What was the name? X Move. Yeah, and that one uses the XY, of course. And with BLUE-3, the XY, if you use the vector synth mode, it means that the first 4 oscillators, which are called A, B, C, and D, will be 1, 2, 3, and 4 in BLUE-3, is that you can mix between these volumes, a bit like Vecto does. So if I go here in live mode, choir, this is this metal sound, which is, let me show, here's the metal sound, X metal. You know what that X metal is? That's a tambourine. I messed so much this tambourine sound up. That's the X metal. So everything where you see X metal, it's totally fantasy. Yeah, and then if I go back to the XY, B is weird sound. So I now record it. Yeah, so these sounds are very cool, but the pizzicato in Predator of BLUE-3 will be very cool. So I'm looking at the chat room. Feel free to use my table saw I sent you. Oh yeah, the table saw. Yeah, that's a good point. Need to check that one out. Yeah, Tom, that's a good idea. No, there are no arguments with my wife because of the kitchen. Because when I use it, I place it back just like the crystal glasses and that kind of stuff. And of course, you saw maybe the picture about my doing the tube sound in the living room, because that one sounded really nice. I have also the dry sound, but let me show you. If I go back to BLUE-3, and these are done, of course, the pure samples, what you hear back. So this is, for instance, a tube. I need to have the one. No, it's the PVC tube. This one is sampled. I need to place a little bit more volume. Yeah, that one. It's very dry. That one is dry recording here in the studio. Just, but I placed that one in the living room, and then you get something like this. Let me see where it is. So the room really does some additional juice. And these original samples most likely somewhere here. But down here it starts to get And if you combine that one, which you know is a synth waveform, so oh yeah, that's filter. Need a bigger filter. 2050 low pass. So you have the attack of the tube, and then the rest is you have the body from the so this is the filter. That's the cool thing about BLUE-2. So this is really analog type. It's a saw waveform, modeled saw waveform, and you stack that together with the tube. So that's gonna be cool, isn't it? So yeah, take some time, guys, to of course to release BLUE-3. We are working now very hard on the graphic interface. So the image what you see now is here is the mid section. This is the new style we have. So here you see the oscillators, the 6 oscillators, and instead of A, B, C, and D, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So maybe a bit later in the live stream. So this is just a little preview of the mid section from BLUE-3. So, and you see here's an icon, an envelope icon, because yeah, BLUE-3 will be also FM synthesis. And if you click on the icon, the envelope opens down here, which you don't see yet because it's not ready. But then you can very fast go to the envelope which you are editing for this FM type of sound. Or here you have the amp envelope and you want to have some more features, so the curve or whatever, and then you click on this icon and it opens again here the envelope. Also in the filter section, and down here also will be the XY. The XY in BLUE-3, so in BLUE-3 always will be visual, so that will be different. In the BLUE-2, yeah, we had a separate screen. So if I open BLUE-2, you don't see any XY. You need to click here the XY to see the XY, and we made it the case that you have an edit page for the XY, but the XY also will be visible in the lower section. And of course BLUE-3 will be bigger than BLUE-2, so we have plenty more room for adding these things. So and as you can see, it still has the feel of Blue, but then in a different way. And then you see here, you can click granular, then some parameters change here, then you can do the length, random, or the size of it. Johan, that's how do you record those sounds without noises? Yeah, well, in my studio, it's totally a dead sound. There's no acoustic things. And in the upper living room, yeah, I'm lucky enough to be able to remove the clock outside, because that one was ticking, and we live in a very quiet area. So that is lucky enough. There are no cars passing by and that kind of thing. There was from that point still one sound which is in Vecto, the pole, which is also in and of course in BLUE-3. That was another story, because that was at my friend's house, and he was living on a street where was a lot of traffic and a lot of birds. And of course it's undone to shoot all the birds down from the trees, because you're recording a pole in front of the house. So that was quite some hits before we had a clean one. So I think it's let me see if I already have a kind of, I don't think that it's inside of it yet. Default sample, let me check here. I need to, maybe I'll find it already. Tune percussion. Yeah, here's the pole. That's the one. Also have a stereo version. So that was, believe it or not, that was outside. And that was, of course, the whole point. And even it's looped. Here at the end, the loop point. Let's play it a bit louder. So I placed 2 microphones. I took the laptop with me. Now I have this Zoom recorder, which has very nice microphones. But at that time, I used the laptop with the audio card and used 2 condenser microphones. But this is outside. And this bowl sound is already in Vector. We use that in Vector, but now it also will be in BLUE-3, of course. Oh, the beta version. No, that takes so many weeks still. I think if it's going to be released in, let's say, end of October, we did very much our best, but I think it's going to be more likely in November. So, so the sampling is still much work. It's still much work to do. The graphics and that kind of things, yeah, they take a lot of time. Okay, let me see the chat room for other questions. I'll be surprised how clear everything sounds. Yeah, if you chop a sample, that's also, of course, if all these sounds which are outside of it sometimes happen on the very last stage when the sound of the original sound is very soft, then you sometimes hear other things. In the recordings of the, that was really a very long recording of the pizzicato in the room. Yeah, you have these acoustic people, the violin players playing, and if their finger just snaps a little bit of the wood, you got all kind of weird extra sounds. But essentially, in some cases, I leave it in. I think most people will not notice it, but sometimes if you play, let me see if I can find one, you hear some artifacts in the end. It's a little bit noisy. Or this one. Listen to the end. Probably somebody moving. So it's pretty noisy, but I mean, it's not a problem if you play it in general with the other. I think it makes also the sound very nice, that it is not as perfect. And what I focused on is that the attack was very, sometimes when they play together, you got a strumming. So I didn't want to have it cling, but a punchy pizzicato sound. No, it's going to be BLUE-3. It's going to be Explorer 8. And then we will also have then an additional new plugin, also in Explorer 8. And a bit later on, we also will have Bit 2. Bit 2 gets an update mainly in the sequencer arpeggiator so that it gets ratcheting, some other things. So yeah, the Zoom they you can, I think you can control a few things, but they are really in a X configuration, and I think they are directional, absolutely. Yeah, I'm very big fan of the Audio-Technica 4041, but the Zoom sounded so well, so I thought, yeah, why do all the hassle and the other things to get my MacBook upstairs and use the 2 Audio-Technica and yeah, it sounded perfect with this Zoom machine. I'm not sure if I still have the image. It's on Facebook. You could see it. I'm not having it on the desktop here anymore. Okay, so that's the story about BLUE-3 a little bit. So this is the way it's going to look. It's going to be a very sophisticated synthesizer. Really combines even more things. So you have the from BLUE-2, the FM synthesis, the subtractive synthesis, the samples which are on board. But now you get also physical modeling, granular things, and you can load in your own samples, new filter types, Yeah, so it's gonna be lots of cool stuff. Okay, yeah, where was I? So maybe there's another question. Just drop me a note. So I think I did not miss anything. Yeah, most likely next week I can show you a bit even more new sounds. Then most likely also have the pizza card ready so I can play it for you. So just like I played the Selena strings a bit for you, and the Alaska Vox. Nice sound. I'm happy to have that one in BLUE-3 because it's also one of my favorite samples. Yeah, and the other things I played last time, would you? That kind of things. The flute is very nice, so it's nice flute also, and it's also, you see, very dry. It's also recorded in my studio. Okay, yeah, people might think, okay, what's this string model? Well, if you go to SubBoomBass-2, here you can select the string model. So each oscillator, you have two oscillators, oscillator 2, I can say, okay, instead of the waveform, here you have the string. Okay. And it's very soft, and so you need to go to the string page, oscillator 2, and there you need to adjust the sound, of course. Or maybe it's best that I take a preset. Manager, go to the introduction bank. Here we have a string sound. And this one, and that's of course the thing you also will be able to do in BLUE-2 is using the string model. This one combined with a sample or this bass. And the string model really adds a nice tone to it. And of course, this one goes to the, let me see. Make it a little. Yeah, there's the filter, but apart from the filter, so even if you don't use the filter, only the string, we did some special things to it. So essentially, here's the string model. You have velocity to the tone. Oh, and I need sorry for my keyboard, but so normally you have string based on white noise. Then you got this as a starting point. But we also added waveforms so this is very, very different than compared to some other Car Plus models. So I found the Car Plus a little bit too limited in my way of thinking. So this is the white noise, and then you have triangle, and you can mix between them, or you can use the velocity to use to go from one sound to another. Or you can pick here, for instance, pink noise. It's very dark. So I really got some. It's not always like sounding like a string guitar, but so these are new things what we do in the string model. This is the general impulse length, what they say. Just play around with this. And then you have the length. And of course the length you also can control with velocity. Make it. should I make it? No, short, soft, and when I play loud, it gets shorter. So then its velocity to the length is inverse. So it means that if I play louder, it becomes shorter. So let me mute myself, then you can hear the sounds pretty metallic, but that you can do. And then you have the plug. And also here you can use the velocity or key range. That's the keyboard range or velocity. Damping. It's a kind of filtering. Essentially, the string couplers is a kind of delay feedback kind of stuff. So we have a starting thing, and that's feedback. It's hard to explain. So I always try to dial the knobs and see what it does. So damping, the more, and also here you can use the keyboard range or the velocity. So if you could combine that. You can really bit flap. And you can bind that. Oh, we got some spam. I can see it now. Well, let me see if I can throw that away. Let me see. Report. Okay, it should be disappearing now. Yeah, that's very funny. If you have the live stream, once my live stream has done, you get some posts in YouTube. Some people say, okay, this was a great live stream, but very often it's the first post is some spam. Okay. I had to report it. Yes, some live stream guys have a lot of trouble with that, and then they need moderators. Lucky enough, it's not that extreme. Can SubBoomBass-2 sound like an e-guitar with FX? Yeah, you need to edit the sound pretty correctly. It's very hard. I think if you use a sample, that's a little more realistic. So you need to add the string down with a very tasteful way. Now I'm going a little bit too extreme, I think. But especially if you combine this with sequence sounds, you can do some very cool. Still a very special sound. Now it plays the notes. So I have the I need to mute down the track, delete. So if I put off the only the string, and that's the cool thing, also on the string you still can use the sub oscillator. So if you think, oh, it doesn't have enough body, you can put in. So if you go to the left, you get a sinus waveform. Hear that? In the middle is neutral, no sub-oscillator. So going to the left, you get a sinus waveform, sub-oscillator, one octave lower. If you go to the right, square wave. Maybe that's nice if you combine that one with your filter. Then you got some pretty aggressive sound. So with only the string. So it's different. It's not really that I say, okay, really useful for making the perfect recreation of a bass by using a model. I think this is more fantasy type new sound. I think if you take a lot of time, you could make, of course, using the string model next to the sample as a kind of additional thing to give it a little bit more aliveness, because the sample is, of course, a pretty static sound. So if I go back here to the bass A stick and click original, it sounds more like an octave above it. What makes that you get this bass got some more expression. Yes. Oh my, we got spam all over the place here. Unbelievable. Yeah, that will be a bad thing that I need to add a moderator. Remove. Unbelievable. And they do this by computers, so there's no real person. Okay, should be gone now. Okay. I'm checking the chat room. Okay, guys. Yeah, well, it did fly. We even did not hit Predator 3 today. So I need to really change the name of this live stream and name it BLUE-3 Preview plus SubBoomBass, something like that, and a little bit of Punch-2. So, yeah, the cool thing is that we have received by Tom already a very cool demo. And I listened to it. I have that, and what I think these side stick, the drum side stick, reminds me of Kraftwerk for some reason. Very nice tune, of course. So let's play it. And he also added some records. So he recorded some 12-inch starting points. So you hear some cracking sound from a real record. And Tom, thanks for sending it in. Guys, I hope to see you next week again. We will, hopefully can show you, let you hear some more samples, which I added for the BLUE-3. So here we're going to listen to Tom, and the song is called Deadly Chase.
Jack